Okay, so I have just gotten home from work and I did a little bit of reading of my first book, which is Hope in the Dark by Rebecca Solnit. And I am realizing this isn't the best book for a readathon when you're supposed to be reading a lot, because Rebecca's cooking and I keep wanting to stop and highlight and reread because I'm like, that one was a banger. That sentiment, that idea. So this is all about essentially maintaining hope in dark times, specifically politically dark times, based on the despair that the left was feeling during the Bush years and the everything going on in Iraq. And it is all about how to maintain hope and how necessary hope is to essentially get the wheels turning moving forward. And I am loving it so far. I think I am about 58 pages in. It's a fairly shortish book, but I'm still gonna have to push because there's already been 38 books entered for the prompt that I'm going for my team. We are tracking, everyone is submitting and then logging what they've already submitted for so that we can keep up and maybe figure out what the number is that we need to shoot for to open the doors. Maybe. Regardless, I need to keep reading and get dinner and go to my flute lesson tonight because, yes, I am an adult beginner flautist. I've been doing it for about a month or so I'm probably not going to demonstrate it on here yet. Don't have that confidence. But I will check in with you when I've gotten a little bit more read. I have gotten a bit more read. I'm currently at page 136. I was crocheting as I went, adding a couple more lines to the book cover blanket. I have a feeling I'm going to have to work to stay on top of that if I read as much as I'm hoping. Regardless, in that time, there's already been another 10 books submitted for mediums. So we're crushing it. I still have no idea what the number is to actually get the door open, but I'm pretty sure at this point that I can at least get this done. I'm hoping to finish it tonight, but I do need to pause for dinner and a lesson. However, I am enjoying myself. It is exactly what it says on the tin, very hopeful, and still talking about a lot of prescient ideas, even though this thing was written originally 20-ish years ago. And even the parts written 20-ish years ago, not just the more modern updates of this edition, are still very of the moment. Rebecca Solnit was really ahead of her time back then. So I am really liking it and just the good vibes. And I'm feeling even better about the fact that I'm going to be, signing up to be a volunteer at my local blood donation center and getting more community minded and all of that. It's just a good feeling in a very specific way that speaks to the moment, if that makes sense. But now I am hungry, so let's grab some food. So I just came back from the flute lesson and it was not great. I got so caught up on learning all the notes that my technique was suckish. I've never had to worry about breath support when I was playing xylophone, okay? Percussionists don't have these worries. Regardless, we are doing a new training work exercise for tone this week, and I pared back how much I quote unquote accepted for my homework. I asked her, hey, could we do less so I can work on this? So we will work on it. And I have to remind myself I have been doing this for a month. It's okay that I still got stuff I gotta work on. Being really far ahead in a month is too much to ask for. Regardless, I can do the thing that I have been working on for years and am really good at, which is reading. So I will come back to you when I finish this book because yes, I am finishing it tonight because my team has already submitted over 60 books and I want to participate. My husband is home, so I am in the office, and the office means I have the nice mic, so I apologize for the wild fluctuations in the audio of this video. Regardless, I did finish Hope in the Dark by Rebecca Solnit, and 5 stars. Feels so good. It has been so long since I have given anything a 5 stars, so really happy with that one. And it was just, again, it was what it says on the tin. It was very much a reinvigorating type thing. And look at how much we've done and how much we can do and how change is wrought and that kind of thing. And I'm like, yes, I'm going to go into my new volunteer gig with full speed ahead. And I'm just very happy, I guess. That seems like a way too simplified version of my feelings, but we'll stick with that. And I was like, okay, I should probably at least pick my next book, even if I'm not going to start reading it tonight, just so I know what I'm reading before work in the morning and what I'm reading on my lunch break. But then it occurred to me that we could open the door while I was sleeping. And so I could wake up to a game prompt, but until I know for sure, we're going to go with The Siren in the Deep Blue Sea by Carolyn Sparks, just because, again, I want something with a narrative. And from what I remember, because I did read a little bit of this before, like months ago, one is very like angsty, dramatic, and all about, the secret organization of villains that they're fighting. So I feel like that's the narrative that I would really gel with right now. And worst comes to worst, if I have to suddenly put this aside and pick up whatever the prompt for the game is, we could do that then. I just hope that it doesn't happen while I'm at work, because, what am I going to do? Regardless, I am going to call it here for tonight. Got some other stuff I got to do before I go to bed, and I will talk to y'all after work tomorrow. It is Friday, May 2nd. I just got back from work, and we still don't have a room unlock announcement, although we have logged, how many are we at here? Too much for me to add up altogether, but a lot. Well over 100, well over 150 at this point. Still no room unlock. Although I'm seriously doubting that I'm going to have enough time to finish this, because I'm trying to remind myself that this isn't a 24-hour readathon or a 48-hour readathon. I really do need to keep in mind that I got other stuff going on this month. Although work today was nice, but I still want to practice the flute. My husband has his drama club show for his students tonight that I want to go to. So stuff is still going on. But I have read 75 pages of The Siren in the Deep Blue Sea before work and on my lunch break. And I forget how cheesy the writing style is. Very video game dialogue with everyone talking just slightly awkwardly to give more exposition than is necessary. But there's something so charming about it, even though I know oh, this is the reveal that's coming and that's the reveal that's coming. Okay, less than 100 pages in. Although this is book 5 in the series, I know that she's magically going to discover that the guy she ends up with is actually the king of a kingdom that nobody knew before, and it's been what happened in literally every other book. It's formulaic, but also not, because the world building of the kingdoms is fun. Still, I'm not going to finish this tonight, and I'm telling myself that so that I am forced to do other stuff. Because again, I really do need to just really hone in on that flute practice, and also I need to get my Read It Less challenge edited and uploaded. So I will check in with you again tonight. I will read more tonight, just like I'm going to try to be chiller about it so I don't crash out of this readathon too. All right, so we had the drama club show, was very adorable. And then we had my flute practice, which thankfully the tonal exercises do seem to be helping. Think Coffee Straw is a very useful tool for me. But now, instead of just reading the text, I think I'm going to switch to the audiobook, because I'm feeling artsy. I would like to do some artsy stuff. Namely, I would like to use up these nail polishes because they're so cheap, and I hated using this one on my nails so much, but I'm under a use what you have challenge. So instead, I turned them into paint and I am using them as paint. So I'm going to draw something else that I can use these things up for, because I never want them to actually touch my nails again. So it took me approximately 2 chapters of the book to do, but we do have this lovely new whatever. I just love geographic designs, and I think this one doesn't need the outline because I like it looking more like an optical illusion. I still have a decent amount of the nail polish, so we'll probably be making some more stuff with it. Although when it gets really low, I don't know how well I'll be able to use it. Regardless, we did get to page 131 of The Siren in the Deep Blue Sea, and I think I might be stopping there. But it's kind of weird compared to all the other books, because it's supposed to be a romance, but our romantic pair has not spent very long together, and the book is just kind of throwing out that, oh yeah, because they've known each other for 4 years, because the first book was 4 years before this one. So yeah, they've just developed love behind the scenes, because they're now spending all of their time separate, doing separate fight the bad guy stuff, and this book cannot stop revealing its own secrets ahead of time and just completely undermining the big reveal. The very end of chapter 9 was no, main character, I am that thing. And yeah, that was already revealed 3 times over before, so that had no impact. None. That could have been such a cool moment. You're like, oh shit. But like, it was trying to hint, like it was trying to be sneaky around that character beforehand, but even then, like another character had fully revealed that. I don't know, it's weird. I hate it when a book ruins its dramatic reveal. Regardless, I am still enjoying it just as a guilty pleasure type story, one of those, you know, it's not well written, but there's just something about it type stories. And it is really putting more depth in the world building. And so I am enjoying it for that sake. I am enjoying the series overall. This was never a series I was looking towards for like the most in-depth writing craft. It was always one of those guilty pleasure series, but regardless, I think we're going to stop there. I have a very busy day tomorrow, even though it's Saturday. We have we're going to meet up with friends to work out. We have the farmer's market. We're going out of town for a show. A lot of theater lately. So I might not get any reading done until like tomorrow evening. I have no idea. Maybe I can use the audiobook on the trip. But anyway, still no announcement that the door has been opened. For right now, this is still going towards that prompt. And I will let you know if that changes tomorrow. I come to you in the morning before we go to the workout thing to tell you that yes, we did open the door. Gym and Spa is opened. But thankfully, looking through the prompts, this one still counts. Because one of the prompts, and I don't think this is spoilers considering this video won't come out until days from now, the author name above the title prompt. So we're going to continue with this one, maybe a little bit quicker because I don't know how much people are going to push through to get the game done. Although it is funny that it's all about massages because I am the weirdo that fucking hates massages. They're already my horror, even without all the extra stuff. But anyway, I will come back to you when I have read a little bit. For now, the game. I am tired. We did do the workout with friends. I got to use my beloved rowing machine again. Then we went to the farmer's market. And then I did get to read a little bit before I went to the show. And then I read a little bit when I get back. And now I'm at page 266. And I'm confused because I'm not sure how this is supposed to turn into a spin-off trilogy because this book screams, we gotta wrap shit up. Like, the the romantic pair that's supposed to be the center of this book barely feels as important. Like, we're getting so many other POVs, and that didn't happen in other books in this series. Every other book, the only POVs you had were basically the main romantic pair and maybe one or two from the antagonist, and that's it. And this one, it's like, we gotta go see what these characters are doing and what these characters are doing, and there's a side romance, and it's a lot, and it doesn't feel like our main pair matters that much. At least not more than just wrapping the plot up. But there's supposed to be 2 more books. So here's my thing. If this does give like a solid ending, right? Like it gives us more or less a good stopping place, I probably just am going to consider this series done and take it off the spreadsheet. Because again, I got way too many books to get through. We're still over 50, and I have another series starter on this readathon's TBR, so like, I don't want to put too much on myself. So I will probably finish this tonight. I have the rest of the evening off. Well, I guess I've had the whole day off, but like the rest of the evening to do anything, right? And it's less than 100 pages. So I will check in when I have finished this and submitted it, and maybe tell you how many we've submitted for the game by now, because I have not even been looking. So I have finished Siren in the Deep Blue Sea by Carolyn Sparks, and I am even more confused, both about this book's writing style and its place in the series, because I double checked, and like, this should be the 5th book in the series, okay? The book 1 introduced 5 different orphans that are all besties, consider themselves sisters, and each book focuses on them finding a relationship and ending up as a queen. And this is the 5th one. Book 5, right? Done. Simple. But no, if you look on any of like the reading sites, this is book 2 in a series. Okay, apparently the first 3 characters becoming queens were its own series, despite the fact that they didn't defeat the big bads of that series, and then book 4 became book 1 of a new series, and this is book 2, and then book 3 supposedly according to Goodreads and Storygraph, is technically the start of a sequel series where like children in this series are older and are having their own like romantic entanglements. I do not understand who decided this setup, but this is the end of the series. This is, by any logical sense, this is the end of its series. We're counting it there. But I have no idea how I missed the writing style in this one because, oh my god, it was so annoying. It kept repeating the same information, the same reveals over and over and over again. After something was revealed to one character, every single time a new character came up, they also had to be told that information and get their reaction verbatim. You could have cut easily 50 to 75 pages out of this book just by doing the whole, so-and-so was brought up to speed overview. It was so repetitive and so hand-holdy. The author did not trust you to understand anything going on without being told directly. And also, all of the characters were sentient of everything going on in the world, apparently. Because, like, someone would be like, oh, there's an explosion over there. It must be this specific thing. And they were always right. Everyone just always had, like, a sixth sense of the plot going on around them. Despite that not being, like, one of the supernatural gifts they had. I think it could either be because there wasn't as much of a romance in here. Because it was kind of just, oh, yeah, they've loved each other. Go. Whereas the other ones, they actually had to, like, create the romance, and maybe all that focus on the plot of trying to wrap it up with the villains really kind of showed the weaknesses of the writing style when you're trying to write like big action scenes. I don't know. I liked the rest of the series way more. And this one just was not it in comparison. But I am counting this as done. This one is done because by any logic, this should be the 5th book in its series. So we're counting it there. Now, the game is still ongoing. The evil massage game. I mean, other people probably think it's nice, but like, I hate massages. Regardless, I am going to go with another book that could both go for the game, but also for other prompts, just in case, I wake up tomorrow and poof, game is over. We're on to the next thing. So I think I will go with Rule of Extinction by Jeff Jones, just because this one seems a little bit more harder hitting, and I don't really want to do a goofier vibe right now. And the only other book I have that would match the game prompt I want to do is Dungeon Crawler Carl, which is a super silly book. So I think we're going with the most serious sci-fi thriller. It is a review book. So I'm hesitant to try to rush through it because I don't usually like to rush through review books, but I have read 2 books in 3 days, which is pretty good for me. I'm well ahead of where I was before. And if I don't get to submit another book for the game, that's fine. I got my one for the door, my one for the game. That'll work. And I will check in with you tomorrow. I thought about ending this at the end of this weekend because I don't want this video to be very long, but also feels weird to end it in the middle of a book. So I think I'll end this video after I've completed another book. We'll do it that way. But I will check in with you in the morning. Merry May the 4th to everyone who celebrates. It is Sunday afternoon. I got a little bit of a late start this morning, but I did remember that the author of Rule of Extinction had sent me an audiobook copy. And usually when authors send me an audiobook copy, I make sure to listen to it because those are a lot harder to send out than just your average e-copy. And I am really enjoying the story so far. We got into the pods way faster than I anticipated. I thought a larger portion of the story would have been fighting to get to a pod to escape the Earth. The Earth has been known to be at the end for several months now. They've been tracking this giant comet coming towards Earth and calling it the Ender and everything. But our main family finds a pod really quick, and you find out where they go, but it's more mysteries, right? What is this place? Why are we here? Who brought us here? The thriller aspect of sci-fi thriller. And then, as other survivors are introduced, you get, flashbacks to, okay, here was them getting into a pod, how they found a pod at the end of the world. So it is a lot of fun. I love the disparate group of survivors coming together and trying to, rebuild aspect. It's one of my favorites. I have some of my own ideas for where they are, but I'm not going to say any just yet because I don't want to, accidentally spoil it if I guess it right on camera. Regardless, I love me a Sunday reset day, so I'm going to be doing a little bit more stuff with the audiobook. I also need to do flute practice. I need to do my latest ASL lesson because the course closes at the end of this month. And I am like just over halfway through. So I'm going to kind of have to book it to finish it out before it closes. So I will check in with you when I have read a little bit more and or when the announcement has come that we've won the game. Haven't heard anything yet, but fortunately, this book does count for a door prompt, even if that does go through before I'm done, which it probably will. I'm definitely not finishing this today and probably not even tomorrow. I am going to be chill. All right, so had a pretty good ASL lesson. We're working on qualifiers. Like, it was great, but then I started getting really tired part of the way through, just that kind of mental weariness. And we ended up going out to eat just because I couldn't imagine cooking. I'm so tired. But I did manage to get some more of the audiobook listened to, mostly while I painted my nails. I painted them black, which means I have +2 to charisma for this week. But the story is feeling very Lost, like the TV show Lost, because they're technically on this island type thing, but everything looks a little weird and they can't figure out, have we time traveled? Is it an alternate dimension? Is it an alien planet? They're all like, it could be aliens that brought us here. It could be humans from the future. Like, nobody knows. But we're also having like the survivor dynamics, like some slight conflict over the way to do things. And I'm really liking that aspect. But it also occurred to me that I don't have any books on my current owned TBR to take to work. Clarification, owned TBR that I had set aside for the readathon. My owned TBR as a whole is not quite that small because I usually have a book that I will read for the little bit of time in the morning that I have, and then on my lunch break. The problem is that all the books I currently have for my TBR that I want to get to are either review books, which I've learned my lesson. We don't take those to work. Or there are books that I want to listen to via audiobook. Like, I don't want to not listen to the audiobook after I used one of my credits for them. So instead, we are going to go with one of my library books, and we are going to do Voyage of the Damned. You can tell that I've already decided to take it in because I've already put it in its crochet book sleeve. Although I did not crochet this for hardcovers. I made it for trade paperbacks. So it's not fitting the best, but this is a genre blend of fantasy and mystery where a group of, YA fantasy protagonists gets on a ship and one of them dies, and now they gotta figure out. I've heard it called like a fantasy comedy and then there were none vibe. So like maybe that's totally wrong. I don't know. Regardless, I tried reading a little bit and it does seem like the lighthearted book that would work for my before work and lunch break times. So I'm not going to wait until I finish this one just because I don't want this vlog to be forever. But I will check in with you after work tomorrow. I am home from work and I got a surprisingly large amount read of Voyage of the Damned by Frances White. I'm on page like 80 in just the little bit I read before I leave for work and on my lunch break. So that's pretty good considering the fact that that's not even like a full 50 minutes of reading that I got there. It's very YA. It is very YA. It is giving me slight Sunbearer Trials vibes, which I guess is kind of makes sense because it's all of these young heirs of the various places in this kingdom being put together. And also death is involved. And I'm really confused how it's all going to work out because like these are all like the heirs to their respective parts of the empire. So like if it if they all die, like what's going to happen? But regardless, I'm enjoying it enough so far. It's definitely just more like a fun, quick read than anything that's like really gripping me. But now that I'm home, I need to prioritize the audiobook, my review book. I don't think I'm going to get a full 100 pages read, so now I'm getting worried that this is going to take me a lot longer and this vlog is going to drag on a lot longer. Still no sign. Wait, now I need to double check. Still no sign, I think, of the game being won. No announcement. Okay, we're still on the game. So I will check in with you in a little bit. I have been having a lovely evening working on a very big crafting project that I am hopefully going to do for this channel way in the future when I get all of the much prep work done. But then I was doing some crocheting and it was so nice. And I was listening to the audiobook and I have to give the author his props. I did not think he was going to have the gall to actually kill off major characters. We've had a lot of people introduced and like, yeah, when like a side character died, I was like, well, yeah, obviously someone's got to off the side characters to up the ante at least a little bit. But then there was this other character. And I'm like, well, clearly they have plot armor because they've had POV chapters. But no, horrific, gruesome death. Because, you know, Tyrannosaurus Rex. Although, like, scientifically accurate Tyrannosaurus Rex, like with feathers. I see you, Jeff Jones, you nerd. But regardless, I have been enjoying it, but I am going to call it here at page 204 because we're about to jump into yet another big, terrible, whatever thing that's happening. And I want to go into that with like a fresh set of eyes, although I have the orientation for volunteering tomorrow, so I probably won't have as much listening time, but that's fine. I'm going to just trust my team to keep pushing at it. We're still not done with the game, which like I know a lot of people were saving books and like pushing on the first day so that most of the other doors probably won't open as quickly as that one did, but still like it's a little bit of a bummer. Regardless, I will come back tomorrow after work and or orientation. Hi, so haven't read it all today, not during the morning time before work, not during the lunch break, and I don't really want to go back to the audiobook of Rule of Extinction just yet because like I know it's about to reveal another really bad thing that's happened and there was so much bad things in the last reading section. Just not feeling it for some reason. So I went back to the prompts for the game and I looked at the color reel one, and my last read was this one, mostly blue. And the opposite color on the color wheel from blue is yellow. So I went through, what do I have that's yellow? We're doing the middle grade. This is Ghost by Jason Reynolds, a contemporary middle grade about a group of kids that sign up for their track team while also dealing with severe personal issues. My husband has met Jason Reynolds. He came to the middle school he works at for a like artist's visit or whatever, and my husband said it was awesome. He's read a couple of his books, said they're great. So when I saw this during a library clean out I was helping with at work, I was like, let's go, let's try it. And also, Libby has the audiobook and it's like 3 hours at regular speed. And I listen well above that. And I do want an audiobook because I'm feeling very crafty. I want to do stuff, but also I want to be like slightly less depressed when I do stuff. So I will come back to you when I have gotten at least a little bit of this gone through. So I was going to fill you guys in when I got like halfway through Ghost, but like I was just vibing. I was coloring my little bookmark from Independent Bookstore Day. I was sewing. We were going. It was great. My husband actually noticed what I was listening to, and he was like, oh yeah, the kids at school are working through that in their reading classes. And I was like, good, because this is a very good book. I really enjoyed it. It was very realistic. I swear I was listening to one of the kids at work, you know, minus all of the very modern internet slang they love to use. But beyond that, just like the way they speak. And it talked about a lot of really like in-depth stuff about trauma and this horrible thing that our main character Ghost and his mother went through and bonding with the teammates. And it was so cute. And now I'm afraid I might have added another series to my spreadsheet. Crap. I was trying not to do that, but it was so cute. So we might have it. And of course, these are small books that I can go through in a day. And I do know this one was on ebook in Libby, so the other ones might be as well. So maybe this can be one of my library series that I don't have to buy, which could be fun. So I did finish that. I did log it right away, just in case. So we logged it for prompt 2, got it done, and I'm having so much fun. I think this was the ticket to get back at it, and I am going to call it here because I did finish another book. It will be weird starting the next vlog whilst in the middle of 2 books, and I have a sinking suspicion that I'm probably going to end up pushing those books off for several weeks, which I do sometimes. I don't know why. I'll start a book at the beginning of a month and then for whatever reason not finish it until like several days before the end of the month. I don't know why. Maybe I'm not always the best at picking the books to start with. Regardless, thank you so much for watching. If you have been on Team Medium or any of the Escape the Readathon teams, really, please let me know how your readathon has been going. And also, we still haven't beaten the game. So, actually, like, this is 15 minutes later, literally as I was going to upload all the footage. We did unlock the game, not even half an hour after I logged my last book. So, I'm taking credit for it. You all are welcome. Anyway, regardless, with nothing else to say, I hope you have a wonderful day and a marvelous tomorrow.